Paul Antonio, Master Scribe and Creative Director of Paul Antonio Scribe. I've been doing calligraphy for 25 years. My clients include Tiffany's, Joe Malone, the BAFTAs, British Museum. How to use a calligraphy brush, or better still, how to use a brush for calligraphy. Once we get our brushes, and they come in different sizes, my preference for brushes are the Winsor & Newton Coatman brushes because they are fantastic for square pen work, or the Winsor & Newton Coatman 222 brushes, which are great for pointed pen work. These are the different shapes of the brushes. Brushes can come either as separate filaments, so they separate out and come back to a very fine point, or they can come as a spongy filament, which, as you apply pressure, it presses down onto the surface. You can treat a brush like a pen and do some delicate copperplate script. Or you can treat it like a brush and do some brush writing. If you have one of these brushes, which is an empty watercolor brush, you can actually flood color on the outside of the lettering and make it bleed just a little bit to add a shadow. Or what you could do is you could write in the water and then very carefully drop black ink. That's using a pointed brush. I'm going to use one of these brushes, and this is very similar to what sign writers use called a rigger. I'm going to lick the brush to get rid of the lacquer, which holds it together. And I'm going to load the brush up, and I'm using some Winsor & Newton orange. This is actually Chinese orange, which unfortunately is discontinued, but it's very easy to mix up using the cadmium orange and some of the other Winsor & Newton colors. And I'm going to treat the brush very gently and apply pressure and come up. And notice how high I'm holding the brush. And make a little dollop there. So I am treating it like a copperplate nib rather than treating it like a brush. And so this is the kind of brush you would use if you want to do some beautiful calligraphic flourishing. Okay? So that's using a brush, a pointed brush. The next thing we can look at is using a brush, a square edge brush, to do some really traditional flat brush lettering. For instance, the type of lettering used by the Romans in the 4th century. And this script is called rustics. Now notice I'm holding the brush in a much more upright, but also in a very different aspect. And I'm twisting the brush inside of my hand. So this is a letter from a script called rustics. You can hold the brush like a pen and rotate through the elbow, through the wrist. But you know, if you're going to hold it like a pen, you might as well be using a pen. Of course, the Coatman brushes also come in much smaller sizes. So let's get rid of that lacquer. And here is where we can actually treat the brush like a pen. So let's do some formal writing. The amazing thing about a brush is it allows shapes that you simply cannot get with a pen. It allows really delicate serifs. and it goes back over itself, which you should never do with a pen.
And that's how you do brush lettering.